Good morning, y'all. If you're new to our channel,
I'm Gene.
And I'm Tracy, and welcome to Just Dig It Farms. Gene and I have not been feeling well for quite a while now, for what, about a month it feels like? And we are getting back to normal. Like, we're finally feeling better. We've been having to just do what we could do and come in and rest, like no energy. So we're finally getting back to normal. And this place is a disaster. We've got a lot of work to do to get things back in order and going around here good.
I have been working on the barn a little bit to get the rafters in place, and hopefully soon I'm gonna go get some tin and get that barn covered. Roof that was destroyed that's on it. A lot of aluminum, some scrap metal I got on there. And I'm gonna take it off to the scrap bin and in hopes that that's gonna pay for my roof. Maybe it'll multiply, but yeah, it's just aluminum. Basically, they're aluminum gutters, and they kind of interlock together. But when that tree hit them, it just mangled up. You just can't really repair that. You can see back, the roof's out. And I'm gonna get some tin. I'm gonna put some struts up today. And what I may end up doing is, for right now, until I have the money to get the tin, I'm going to, I got a big tarp I think I'm gonna try to put down to keep my tools from getting wet. We'll see how it works. Right now, today, me and Chase are gonna be working on the lawnmower, the ZTR. Had to pull the deck off. We got a lot of grass to cut.
Yeah.
Because my bush hog's down right now too. My PTO shaft broke on my bush hog, and I've got to get a new one of those. And man, and now we're getting all this rain, so what a perfect timing.
Yeah, it's just a mess.
Thank
out
God
here.
though.
But our tractor broke.
Yeah.
The lawnmower broke.
Yeah.
The tiller broke.
Yeah.
The barn got trashed.
And we broke.
We broke. That's true. So it's just kind of been a tough go, but
we're on the up climb now.
We're on the up climb. We're doing good, and we're glad to be back. We've missed doing videos with you guys and sharing our journey with you guys. So Gene's gonna go work on the barn and the lawnmower, and I'm gonna go work on the garden. We ended up with our whole family getting this mess and being sick. Gene and I had actually went to visit our son and daughter-in-law, Chance and Renee, in Florida for just a couple of days. We just wanted to go down and see them for a few days. And when we got there, Chance was not feeling well. Gene was not feeling well when we left. And the first day that we were there, we were at a restaurant waiting to eat, and I couldn't even wait. I got so sick, we had to leave. And then the whole next day, I was just in the bed sick, and we came home. So we didn't even really get to visit with them. By the time we got home, Gene was really sick. I was really sick. Renee got it, so Chance and Renee had it, and then Chase got it, and we were just all down with this mess. But Chance and Renee recovered super quick. They're very, very healthy people. They eat healthy, they work out, they're extremely healthy people, and they bounced back really quick. And they were bored to death, so they come down here 4th of July weekend with us and spent the weekend with us here on the farm, and we just chilled. We just pretty much chilled all weekend. Renee hadn't been here to see the baby goats yet, so she was super excited to get to come and spend a couple of days with the baby goats, and we enjoyed having them. We had a good time. Even though we were all sick and we just quarantined ourselves here, we still had a good time with each other.
and every time I go, it's just like, pop, pop, pop. Come on, boy.
Big, huh? I had a This has also been a really tough year for the garden, y'all. There's been a lot of challenges in this garden, in this farm, and with us all year long. It's been a tough year. And I don't really think we're the only ones, because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about a lot of different issues in their garden and on their farms. This year we had extreme heat early. Like we went straight from winter into 90s and 100. And it's been extreme, extreme hot, hot, hot heat. And a drought. 5 solid weeks without one single little drop of water. It would be raining all around us, and then when it got to us, it would just divide. And we didn't even get a drop of rain for like 5 weeks. And finally, it broke. And that was 4th of July weekend.
Rain makes corn. Corn makes whiskey. Whiskey makes my Tracy. You little Christmas.
And we got a good downpour, and ever since then we've been getting some decent rain showers about every 2 to 3 days. So enough to bring life back to the farm, because I'm not kidding y'all, this place was a desert. Like we had no grass. It was just all, our soil is super, super sandy, like really sandy. And we had no grass. It was just like dirt and sand, and that's all there was. And the garden would not grow. Our water bill was ridiculous from me watering, and the garden just would not grow no matter what I did. You know, that rainwater, it is full of nutrients. It's not just water, it's full of nitrogen and nutrients, and the garden just would not grow without the rain. We had extreme weather issues, and there's something going on with soils. I have a good friend that I went and visited with the other day. I'm doing a little design work with her, and she got Grazon introduced into her vegetable garden through a bag of compost. You know, it's just scary because that toxic stuff gets in your soil in your garden and you can't grow food. And it's happening to a lot of people. We haven't had an issue with contaminated soil, thank God. But I'm just saying there is a lot of people really struggling this year in their gardens and in their farms. They're having to sell off cattle. They're having to sell off their goats and their animal herds. Just last month, we had no hay around here. And I found one place that was an hour away from me that had 10 bales left, and I went and got it, and it got me through until we got some hay around here. And the prices of the hay and the feed and the fertilizers for your garden and all the different things, and to be able to build infrastructure stuff for your farm and your garden, like our barn. We had that tree crash on our barn and completely destroy it. And it's just so expensive to fix it. And it wasn't in our budget, and we're just having to piece things together and do the best we can do. So it's been a really challenging year this year. And then we got sick, and that really zapped us. I mean, that like jerked the feet out from under us. Anyways, you guys know the situation of this world and what's going on. And I purposely do not focus on that on this channel, because there's plenty of other channels out there. There's plenty of other resources out there for y'all to hear all of this. I want to be more of an encouragement for you guys. And, you know, I don't want to dwell on all the issues with you, but they're real. You know, they're real. This is real issues, and it is causing big challenges in situations. But it's also been a pretty good awakening for Gene and me in our garden and in our farm goals, because, see, we had that drought. So with that drought, nothing would grow. And then I don't have irrigation set up out here yet. And the water that we do have out here, which is right there, the hose, is our county water. So when I do water, which is me with a hose pipe dragging it all over this garden, it's county water. And my water bill was way on up there, just trying to keep things alive, not thriving, not growing, not really producing, just trying to keep things alive. We said this in the beginning, but we just let other things take priority. And I always say, I can drag a hose. It's okay. Let's do this. We need to do this. Well, that's not really a good option at all. And we know that. So all of this has kind of caused us to realign some priorities and some goals, and to get back to what we're really trying to do here, which is be more self-sufficient. For systems to work together and for systems to work for us, instead of us working so hard for all of the systems. And the big key out here in this garden is water. See, I want my fence around the garden and borders and, you know, arbors and all the beautiful things that make the garden so gorgeous. That's what I want to put the money into. But we've got to get the water out here, because without water, we have no garden. There's been a lot of disease and insect pressure out here, because one reason is no rain, and I can only drag the hose so much. I have a pretty good sized garden, and I can only drag the hose so much, so I set up the overhead sprinkler thing and would move it all around my beds during the day. And of course, that causes a lot of disease issues. That water sits on the foliage, and it ends up causing funguses and bacterias and disease issues, when it's really better to just do a drip where your water's going directly to your roots. So these are my tomatoes. I haven't hardly had any tomatoes. I mean, look how sick they are. They're just sick. Sick, sick, sick. But you know, when they're neglected, they're also going to have issues. And I wasn't able to get out here and do all the things that needed to be done to them and manage the pest and the disease pressure. I've had just a few tomatoes for tomato sandwiches. And you know, I need to be putting tomatoes up, because I've already used all of my tomato products that I had put up from last year, and I needed tomatoes to put them up to make sauces and soups and all those things that we eat. And I didn't get any tomatoes. So what I'm doing about that is I've got some started in my greenhouse. It is July, mid-July, and I started these last week. Today is July the 9th, and these are the tomatoes that I am sowing right now, so that I can have some fall tomatoes. So I've got 3 beefsteaks. Actually, in each one, I planted 2 seeds in each 4-inch cup, just in case one didn't germinate. So really, I've got 6 beefsteaks. I've got 6 Better Boys, 6 Homesteads, 6 Halcinators, 6 Celebrities. This is 2 more Celebrities. This is 2 mountain merits and 2 sun golds. So hopefully my fall tomatoes are going to be better than my summer tomatoes, because they were horrible. And just about every one of these, the maturity date is around 70 days. Every one of these. Today is July the 9th. My first frost date is November the 11th. So that gives me right around 125 days left of growing season. And this is about 7 days to germinate, and then 70 days to mature. So that's 77, about 8, let's just say 80 days to get tomatoes. And I have somewhere around 125, 26 days left in my growing period. Hopefully we're gonna have a much better crop fall tomatoes than we did summer tomatoes. I've also started some national pickling cucumbers. My cucumbers this year, I didn't have that many. They didn't do that great. I didn't get any beans. Like, none of my beans came up. When we got the rain, 4th of July weekend, they finally started coming up. So that has been nice to finally see some beans popping up. But like, I haven't harvested any beans yet at all. So I'm hoping I'm gonna get some beans. Even though we didn't get a lot of things in the garden, like the summer things, like your tomatoes and beans and stuff like that, that we really needed, let's look at the positive side of what's been taking place out here. I did harvest some spaghetti squash and some butternut squash, and I've got that in storage, and those store really well for a long time, so I'm glad I got those. We harvested a pretty good amount of yellow squash, yellow crookneck squash, enough to put some up in the freezer and to can some. So I'm good for my squash for the year. I did get a pretty good crop of that. We got a lot of potatoes. I harvested so many potatoes. It's wonderful. Last year, the littler potatoes, I canned them. And then I would just open them up and throw them in with some of my green beans from the garden. And oh my God, we enjoyed that so much. So I'm looking forward to getting those canned and put up. I harvested a lot of garlic, so I'm happy about that. Surprisingly, I got some broccoli and a few Brussels sprouts, which is pretty surprising. Not too bad for July. But I grew that green magic broccoli from Hoss, and it's more heat tolerant. And we ate a lot of broccoli the beginning spring and the early part of summer. We were still eating broccoli, so I was happy about that. I have harvested a lot of herbs that I'm going to be making tinctures with, and salves and all my medicinal things. Plus I put up a lot of herbs for cooking, a lot of culinary herbs too. And these 2 big buckets here this is yarrow. Can't really see it down in there, but that's a whole bunch of yarrow. And I'm gonna pull off these leaves and dry them. And then this is some echinacea that I've harvested. I've left a lot out there because it still looks really pretty. And I'm going to let the rest of the seed heads go to seed, and then I'll harvest those. But these, I'm going to just use flower petals, and I'm going to take some of these leaves and dry all of these for tincture. I'm going to make a whole plant tincture. So I'm taking every part of this plant as it's ready to harvest. So today I'm taking the petals, the flowers, and the leaves. As the flower cone heads go to seed, I'll take the seed. And then this fall, I've got so much echinacea now, I'm gonna dig up some of the root, and I'll use the root as well. And then by late fall, I'll have all parts of the echinacea plant. I'll have the flower, the seed, the petals and the root, and I'll make us an echinacea tincture to get through the winter with. I've got another good basket of echinacea leaves and seeds. Got rudbeckia seeds, and I've got a wonderful smelling, this smells so good, basket of Spanish lavender that I'm gonna dry. And I'm probably gonna be using this for my hand salve. And you can see back here, my little Three Sisters garden that I had started is doing amazing. Like, this bed back here has been kicking. So this is the glass gem corn and pumpkins that I planted. I saved these seeds from wedding pumpkins from last year from my son and daughter-in-law's wedding that I had grown to decorate the wedding with. I saved those seeds, and this is some of the green and white pumpkins here, and the glass gem corn. And this is a corn that is a flint corn. So this is more to make like meal and popcorn out of. It's not really a sweet, fresh eating corn. I was going to come back and plant some beans in here with it and have a real Three Sisters garden, but we got sick and I never did it, and I think I'm just gonna let it be now. But I'm pretty happy about this. This is awesome. My blackberries, they have put on so much growth. They're coming way out here in the aisle. See all this work I gotta do? Look, I don't even have a pathway anymore. I've got pumpkins coming on one side and blackberries on the other. But these blackberries, it is time for me to come in, prune out the old canes, and start training the new. And we are going to have a lot of blackberries next year. Crazy is, okra in the south, okra can grow. Like, it loves the heat. That's what it needs, loves it, it does well. I have sown okra 3 times in this one bed right here. 3 times. You can see all the empty spaces. 3 different kinds. I did the pink Okinawa from Baker Creek. I did Clemson Spineless, and I did Alabama Crimson Red from seeds that I had saved last year. Pink Okinawa ended up with 2 plants, 1, 2 from a whole pack of seeds, and I've got all these empty spaces. But finally, I've got some coming up. So, I don't know. I've got some coming up over there too. In these spots, it just will not grow. I don't know. Now, let's look at this market garden. Gene planted this garden right at the brink of the drought. So he planted it and we got no rain at all. And it just would not move. Weeds took over before the seeds could pop up. The tiller broke. So he got a wheel hoe for Father's Day.
Hey, come look at this. Woo! What's that for? Oh, that's Hoss.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Yes, sir. Woo! Man, I got me a hoe wheel. Yes! I'm gonna put that baby together. I need it now because my garden has gotten weedy. Lord have mercy.
Yep. Here's you some more work to do.
Hey, I've been putting a lot of tools together.
I know you have.
Furniture. Oh, boy. Yes, sir. Made in the US of A. Woohoo! I can see it now. Woo!
And man, we love that wheel hoe. We absolutely love it. That thing is a game changer because like I said, that tiller broke, and when you've got a market garden and it's not set up in raised bed situations, we didn't bring in any compost in here, you know, we just tilled up raw grass pasture and just planted this garden, then you end up with a weed mess. And that wheel hoe, it really was a game changer. He got in here and cleaned the garden up and fertilized right before it started raining, and finally things are starting to jump out here.
This thing, guys, is so easy. Mowing takes so long, and this is better than using gas on the tiller. Man, I'm just digging this. This is crazy.
The melons have been just like really doing good. Look at all these melons. I've got all different kinds in here. Finally, I think we're gonna get some melons. Now the okra got a super slow and a hard start, but it is coming. It is finally beginning to grow. Finally, you can see the difference. See, this is the Clemson spineless, and the red back there is the Alabama crimson. We eat a lot of okra all throughout the year. We like it all different kinds of ways. I like to put it up, and I wanted to try pickling okra because Chase loves pickled okra, and I wanted to try to do that this year. So we grow a lot of okra because we eat a lot of okra. So I really hope that we end up with a good harvest of okra. We're late, we're super late, but we still have plenty of time. And the sweet corn is just a sad story. I mean, I'm looking at all of our friends' sweet corn, and it's daggum 10 feet tall, and they've already finished harvesting their corn, and we just, it's pitiful. It's just pitiful. Maybe we'll get some, I don't know. On this sweet corn over here, let me just show you guys something that's just, it's a testament of the difference in planting and growing food in good soil and planting and trying to grow food in bad soil. This corn Jean planted 2 weeks before I planted that glass gem corn over there. 2 weeks beforehand. That's the difference in good soil, compost, and bad soil. Now I've been getting a lot of sun golds. The sun golds don't seem to care about nothing. They don't seem to care. They just keep on growing, and they are so good. I love sun golds. But basically, that's the only tomatoes we've been getting. I've got a few Cherokee purples, a couple of Halcinators, which, man, I'm gonna tell you what, that made a good tomato sandwich. But everything else, no. No other tomatoes. And this little melon here volunteered. It came up. And there it is. So I don't know exactly who it is, but I just been letting it grow. So even though we've been down and been sick, you know, you still have to work when you have a farm. It don't matter how sick you are. Baby goats need to be fed, and animals need to be fed, and things have to be taken care of. So we've just been getting out here and doing what we could do, resting, coming back, doing what we could do, being very cautious and intentional about getting out here super early in the morning and late in the evening and trying to avoid midday, because that really zapped us. So I've just been doing my July cleanup in the garden, getting the garden cleaned up, pulling out old, diseased, dead, pruning, clipping, cutting back, cleaning up, harvesting what could be harvested, and resowing and replanting, filling in empty spaces where I've pulled stuff out of things that you can plant now, which in my zone 8, Central Alabama, first frost date November the 11th, I can do, I've got my tomatoes started in seed trays. So we'll give them about 4 or 5 weeks and then I'll be putting them in the ground. But as far as sowing seed, I'm putting in zinnias, marigolds, sunflowers, peas, as many peas as I can. I planted pumpkins. I redid some basil. You could actually do a fall crop of corn right now, and Hoss has one called ambrosia, and it's a really good sweet fall corn that you could plant, but you'd need to get that in the ground as soon as you can. Mostly right now it's just major cleanup, trying to get control of everything, and filling in empty spaces with things that I can plant right now. Thank you for hanging out with us today, y'all. I am so happy that Jean and I and our whole family are feeling better, and we are back in the garden, and we are back with you guys again. God bless you, and I will see y'all on the next video.